When it comes to creating a reading habit, consistency is probably the hardest part to maintain. We have schoolwork, family obligations, work, and our own personal distractions that cause us to fall away from our goal of reading more. Motivation and inspiration to read seems to come and go, leaving a trail of half-read books and nothing to learn and apply. We've all been there, me included, but over the years, I've developed some strategies and techniques to help me stay consistent. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 strategies that I've used in order to create a consistent reading habit. The first strategy is schedule time to read. Any productivity expert will tell you that in order to do anything consistently, you have to schedule time for it. This goes for anything you want to do, whether exercise, socializing, and reading. The principle remains the same. My routine has changed a little. Before I used to commute into work, but now I've been working mostly from home, which means that my morning is freed up to spend time reading. The time that you read depends on your own personal routine, but the main thing is that the time remains the same each day to make sure that you are consistent. My recommendation is always to read in the morning, and this is for 2 reasons. The first is that your mind is more fresh and is able to retain more information. This is helpful, especially if you're reading more technical books than, let's say, fiction. The second and more important point is you're less distracted by outside forces and more likely to actually follow through with your reading. Most people put off their reading for the evening, only then to have other obligations or too tired to spend time reading. If you don't prioritize your reading, then it's very difficult to remain consistent. The second strategy is read what you enjoy. Anyone who has the desire to start a reading habit often goes straight to Amazon or their favorite reviewer to find books to read. Although this is a great way to find books to read, it's often not specific enough. This is why I'm not a fan of bestseller lists. I can't recall a time ever really that I've got onto a bestseller list in order to choose books to read. Often my favorite books have been obscure books that never made it close to any of those lists. This is an important reason to why I've been so consistent, because I read books that interest me or something that I can learn from and use. When you hit a reading plateau, and this happens the same with any habit, it often means asking yourself the simple question of why you're actually doing it. In the case of reading, then it should be to learn, or for fiction, it could be entertainment. If you're being inconsistent with your reading, it's usually that you're forcing yourself to read certain types of books because they're deemed to be the classical books in any genre. Personally, I don't subscribe to this version of classics because that is just a quote that people use in order to make it seem like they've read books when they actually haven't read books. My opinion is you should just read books that interest you, and whatever that is, that's great. The third and last strategy is use all devices. This one is more of a subtle point, but definitely helps in being a more consistent reader. See, most people are too concerned about the version of the book that they are reading. Many people just want to read the physical copy or an ebook or an audiobook, and it's actually one of the questions that I get a lot is, which one do I prefer? My answer is always that one method isn't better than another. They all have their advantages. A physical copy has the advantage that you can take notes and highlight in it. But an audiobook is great because you can be listening while exercising, cooking, cleaning, or commuting. It's such a great way to maintain a reading habit while not actually spending time reading. Lastly, an ebook has an advantage that you can take it anywhere and have hundreds of books on one device. When I travel, I usually take my Kindle and iPad to read on, but rarely read on my phone just because I find the screen size just a bit too small. But if that's all you have, then my recommendation is just to use the best tools that you have at any moment in order to read more. Using all your devices at the same time is a great way to maintain consistency through time. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, then please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Before you go, I just want to let you know that every month I send out a monthly newsletter that includes book reviews, book recommendations, and author insights from my weekly podcasts with authors. The newsletter is totally free and the link is in the description below. It would mean the world to me if you did subscribe.